we will have invocation by yours truly, and then Councilman Eddie Harrington is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Will we all stand at this time for prayer and pledge? Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for this night. We thank you for the city. Continue to look down upon us and protect us. Thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us and for those blessings that are coming our way. We thank you, God, that we will be known for positive things and even more so in the future to come. God, even as we're reflecting on this day being the last meeting of the 2023 calendar, we're reflective and we're appreciative as well of all the things that you have done to get us to this point. Reminded of an old song, says, your grace and mercy brought me through. I'm living this moment because of you. And so, God, we thank you now, and we appreciate you for all of the grace and mercy you have shown to us. And we ask now, God, that you would guide our thoughts as we are in this meeting, that it would be a meeting done decently and in order. We thank you for your guidance now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please follow me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Councilman, for the pledge, leading us in the pledge. Next item on the agenda, we have the reading and approval of the minutes from our November 27, 2023 meeting.
May I make a motion that the minutes of November 27th be approved and dispensed with reading of the minutes?
A second.
Motion has been made and seconded to dispense with the reading of the minutes and to approve them. Any comment about this particular motion? All right, seeing none, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
PT?
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. All right, next on the agenda, we have special recognition, and we've already recognized Mr. David Harper. He is an employee of the Community Development Department, and I just want to, I didn't necessarily ask him to do it, but Randy, I don't know, maybe there are some comments you might want to say about David, being that you work very closely with him.
Mayor, I would like to. David's been with us 10 years, effective December, 28th, I think. And that being said, he worked for about 2 to 2.5 years before he was hired when we renovated City Hall initially. Then we renovated upstairs at Central Fire. And it didn't take me long to see what he was capable of doing. And I can assure you when I tell you there's not many jobs that he and his assistant Randall haven't tackled. And I'd venture to say in maintenance costs that would go out to an outside third party like plumbers, electricians, handymen, I wouldn't doubt we save $50,000, $75,000 a year by having the quality of individual that's running the maintenance department. And I would hope he would certainly stay on long after I'm gone.
And I think many throughout the city appreciate, obviously he's out of Randy's department, but he touches a lot of other departments. If there are things like Randy mentioned, plumbing and carpentry, things of that nature that need to get done. So we did provide Mr. Harper with a certificate of appreciation for his great work, and also, I don't think you see it, but a City of Natchitoches Yeti Cup, if you will. And I would ask everyone to go check out our Facebook post that we did on Mr. David, and some interesting facts about him. It says he's been with the city, as he said, 10 years. One of the questions, what's the favorite part of your job? What's your favorite part about your job? He says, you never know what's next. And that's true. Especially working with Randy, right? You never know. What is one thing you're proud of in your life? He says he's proud of his family. And then I thought this one was a really cool answer. what is your ideal vacation spot? And he said the woods. So he really likes to be in the woods. So David, we're going to ask that you come forward. Also, Randy, you come forward as well. And Mr. Kevin is going to get a picture of us here, and hopefully they're going to pick it up and just want to spotlight some of the great work that we have going on in the city. Okay? Come on.
Thanks, David.
Before we go any further, just a note about Randy. He's actually on vacation this week, and he said he was going to stop in and be here for tonight, so we appreciate him being here, even though he's technically not working. He and his wife are celebrating 50 years of marriage, so that is awesome. 50 years of marriage. All right, we've got a planning and zoning piece next. I know you see the presentation, City Council, but we're going to do that later. There's some comments we want to give from DOTD before we bring the presentation before you. But there is a Safe Streets draft plan that's coming, and just need a DOTD to give some comments before we do that part. So we're moving now to the planning and zoning introduction, and that's Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for introduction. Ordinance number 076 of 2023 is an ordinance amending ordinance number 64 of 2001 by changing zoning classification of property described as follows. To rezone the following: Lot 8, re-subdivision of Lot C and a portion of Lot D of Monroe's Sibley Lake subdivision, being 162 Johnson Lane. Whereas the Planning Commission of the City of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, has recommended at their meeting of November 5, 2023, that the application of J. Sharpland to rezone the property described above from R1 residential to R1 residential with a special exception to operate as a short-term rental be approved. And this is for introduction.
All right. This is the Monroe Drive community, or I guess it says the address there, 162 Johnson Lane. And I know the moratorium passed by a majority vote the last meeting, but this application was actually already in before that vote. So, Chantrell, do you have any comment? I know the owner actually has his primary residence right next to this one, so I think that that's a point to know. But I don't know if there's any other thing you want to share.
No, sir. I mean, it falls in line with all of the other short-term rentals that's come before us. This one is no different, except that the owner is right next door, literally. So, other
Okay.
than that, that's it.
Any comments or questions, council?
Only comment I'd make is that Mr. Sharpland is in the business of taking care of people staying overnight. So, and with it being next door to his property, should work out fine.
It's also, it should be noted, it's a little more secluded, and it's in that,
Cove.
yes, it sticks out, and it's on the lake too, isn't it? Yeah.
Sorry.
Peninsula sticks out, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay. All right, any other comments, council? Again, this is just for introduction, so our first meeting in January, we will address this. That's January 8th. January 8th. Okay, let's move on to some ordinances for final, as we have a couple. The first one is ordinance number 72 of 2023. Councilman Nielsen.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 72 of 2023 is an ordinance declaring buildings dilapidated and/or in a dangerous condition and an order of condemnation and demolition of the same. And the owners are H-Town Hospitality LLC, 14702 South Post Oak Road, Houston, Texas, 77045. The physical location of the property is 7624 Highway 1 bypass. And
Okay, we do have the owners here. They also have their attorney, Mr. Billy West. Chantrell, before we allow them to come, any comment you have from, because as I see it, you're our first kind of line of contact, if you will, with these sort of matters. So if there's a timeline you want to kind of lay out or just kind of share some communication before we allow them to come forward.
Just to lay out some framework, this is a process that we started way back in July, and trying to get the hotel back into compliance and working conditions, and being able to provide a safe haven for the residents that decide to rent or utilize this hotel. There were some issues that are on the table that we needed to discuss with the owners to bring into compliance that were not done in a timely manner before we condemned the property. Some of those issues were mold remediation, other issues that were taking place that I don't want to go into further detail on, but if need be, we can talk later after City Council. But there were some issues that prevented us from or that made us condemn the property.
Okay. Thanks, Chantrell. And I understand from Mr. Billy West, if this opportunity now for your clients to come, you to come with your clients to kind of.
Where do you want to see her?
Yes, sir. I know that they have maybe made some improvements, I guess,
Yes.
since we first started this conversation. So just want them to kind of document that. But yeah, whoever's going to address City Council will have you speak in the microphone and state your first and last name, just for the record, and then share how you want to share it with us.
State your name.
My name is Parth Bhakta. I'm the representative with H-Town Hospitality.
And Mayor, I'm not sure your procedure. Would you like me just to question you about what you've done? Is that the procedure?
Do we want Mr. Billy West to say his name on the record too?
Sure.
Yeah,
My
you
name's
as well.
Billy West. I was hired last week by H-Town.
Could you do it in the microphone? I know you're kind of loud here, but that's more so for our audience at home.
Billy West. I've been hired to represent H-Town Hospitality LLC out of Houston. Parth Bhakta is here to give a report to the council. We have been communicating with Alex Washington and Chantrell since last week. We've provided a lot of documentation, and I'll have Parth go through a brief recap of just a non-exclusive list of amounts of money they've paid to remediate the property because of some of the concerns that were brought to their attention. So having said that, would you like me to just question Parth?
Yeah, however y'all want to present whatever you've done.
And Parth, would you state your name, please?
Parth Bhakta.
And Parth, you and your father own H-Town Hospitality LLC?
My father, yes.
Your father owns it?
Yes.
And you're going to speak simply for the corporation?
Yes.
The company tonight? And there have been some requests of the city to provide remediation of the property with respect to some mold issues, some security issues, locks on the doors, those kind of things. Would you briefly give a recap of the amount of money H-Town Hospitality has spent in remediating the property in the last 6 to 7 months, if not a year?
So, one, we've hired a remediation company, Prestige Restoration and Cleaning, which was $93,000. We have improved the security camera system, and we've spent $5,223.85 on that. For ELOS Environmental, which is the microbial activity testing company, $76,679. With USA LEDs with the interior and exterior lighting, $23,871. Bayou Roofing, which is to do with the mold situation that we had some leaks coming in from the roof, so we spent $312,085. For security on locks, E-Locks Incorporated, $12,614.58, and then to install the lights and all, about a little bit over $25,000 to Ward Electric.
And Parth, these are monies that H-Town has actually spent in the last 6 months to a year remediating the property.
Correct.
And we have provided to Chantrell and to Mr. Washington the reports and the invoices and documentation of all these payments, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there is approximately 150 rooms at the hotel, is that right?
Yes.
And there are 42 rooms that still have a slight amount of what has been described as microbial activity that can be remediated through simply more thorough cleaning, is that correct?
Yes, that's what the report stated.
Okay, and we've provided those reports to the city that are dated, I believe, October 23rd and December 7th, 2023, is that correct?
Correct.
And through our conversations with the city, is the plan for H-Town to continue to remediate the property, those 42 rooms, for the next 30 days?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the discussions we've had with the city attorney was that a recommendation would be to give us that time to finish this remediation, and I think also to have more communication with Chantrell.
Yes, sir.
And are you willing to do that, and cooperate with the city,
Yes, we will.
and answer any questions that council may have?
Yep.
Sure. And we have provided documentation to both the city attorney and to Chantrell Rock with respect to all these payments and the efforts that have been made. And I think Parth also wanted to invite all the council persons and the mayor to come visit the property. It's a marked improvement.
What's your name again, sir?
Parth,
Spell
P-A-R-T,
it.
P-A-R-T-H.
And your last name
Pete
is-
Parth.
Mhm.
Parth, okay,
Correct.
I got you. I guess one of the things that kind of stood out, Parth, to me, especially in my conversations with Chantrell, is the mold remediation. I don't exactly remember the estimate. You all got a company to give you an estimate on what it would cost. And I remember that figure being significantly more than $93,000
Yes.
to, and I understand not all of it has been addressed. And certainly our viewpoint would, we want, the safest environment for anybody, whether they're visitors or, whoever's going to be there using your facility. So, but I remember an estimate around, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
It was
$583,000.
much higher. So that company was actually out of Texas, and then later we found out that they were not licensed in the state of Louisiana. So that's why we went with a company that was licensed. And I sent the license documents to Ms. Chantrell, and we have that. So that's why we went with the company that basically was licensed in the state of Louisiana.
And I think that company's name is Elos.
No, Prestige Restore.
Elos
Prestige.
is the people that came and did the testing.
Yes, Elos is the testing
I'm
company.
sorry.
Prestige Restoration and Cleaning Services. And it's a gentleman named Cedric. I actually spoke to him this morning, just a brief conversation. So if anybody wants more information on him, we can send him. We can give you guys his number. You can speak to him personally.
And I'm sorry for clarity, so you got a different company to do it than that originally gave the
Correct.
bid,
correct,
is what you're saying?
Correct. And that company does have the licensing and everything, which was sent to Ms. Chantrell already.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're asking for, you're asking for 30 days to do 42 rooms, I think you said?
Correct. And the report, it does state that it doesn't need any more, license remediation. It's mainly just cleaning of the PTAC units, which is the air conditioning units, and just minor cleaning on it. And the report state that we've sent to Mr. Washington and Ms. Chantrell.
I do have a question on that part.
Yes, ma'am.
Even though you're saying that the report does not state that, because there's still microbial activity there, that licensed remote remediation company still has to do the work. Then they'll have to provide us an environmental report stating there is no more mold in the facility.
Correct. Okay. That's
So your
fine.
licensed guy still has to do the work.
Okay.
Has that been provided, for the previous rooms? I mean, is this
Yes,
something?
100 rooms have been cleared.
Okay.
That's correct, Betty.
Didn't the fire marshal, Chantrell, didn't the fire marshal have a
Yes,
report?
the fire marshal had an issue that they claimed or stated that In our initial investigations, there were people living in the facility. So the fire marshal asked that they do a change of use to recommend that the hotel be used for apartments. I'm not sure where they stand with that. I don't think that the submittal was done. I think they may have changed from that use. So I'm not sure where we are on that, but they did not submit to the fire marshal.
Let me have Arthur explain that, please. That's a legitimate question, and I believe the company addressed that with not seeking to change the codes to where anybody could stay longer than 29 days.
Correct.
So it's short, 29 days and less?
Correct.
Okay, so no one's living there permanently?
No.
Okay.
So were they living there permanently at first? You said?
Probably
I have a
over
question.
29
Allegedly.
days.
Okay.
I have a question. So when we first entered the building, it was during the rainy time when we first went in that building. When you walked into the kitchen and the dining area and the assembly room area off to the back, it was reported that y'all had had some roof work done.
Yes, we redid the whole property's roof.
Okay. So is it confirmed that that's been repaired? Because I'm here to
Correct.
tell you, there was a lot of water coming inside the building.
So-
Electricity was still on in the building, and it presented a really unsafe environment.
Yeah, so we redid the roof and we've renovated the full ballroom. We have sent pictures of that. We've actually already had 2 events in the conference room, which was the mold testing had cleared out in October. So
We would invite you back, Chief, to go.
yeah,
Check it
and
Photographs have been submitted to Chantrell and to Alex. Again, we're happy to provide those electronically to the council. And the fire. But a lot of work has been done, and again, hopefully that would satisfy the chief regarding what was clearly a problem with the roof.
Thank you.
It sounds like a new inspection maybe need to be done.
We'd
Who
welcome
wants to
that.
do the work?
We would invite you all to come inspect the property, and if we can have through the January 11th date, with Mr. Washington advised me he was gonna, that was gonna be his recommendation when he got to the council meeting, to provide a little documentation and then invite everybody out. Chantrell and I talked about doing even a Zoom call to address any other concerns she might have. I think we can answer most of her questions in a Zoom call, but if not, we can have an on-site inspection as you suggested, Eddie.
I just have a
Well,
question for Chief. I'm sorry, Councilwoman at Large. Chief, so since you, as the chief and stuff, exactly, because I know it's been what Ms. Centura Rock was saying and stuff, some activities been going on and on. From your perspective, what, like, it was been like, I know shooting, gun violence, stuff like that and stuff. So have we been getting any more calls out there since?
I would say that we've had a reduction in the number of calls at that location, given where we're at with the summer versus where we are now. So, I do think there has been an effort made to try to reduce some of the problems we were experiencing, coupled with the concerns about the long-term stays at the location and the clientele that are staying, because it is used primarily for people who are here working job sites and others, other type of occupations. But we do have some transient individuals that may frequent that place, and so we were concerned with that activity that was going on in the calls that we would get. But I would like to say there has been a reduction of the number of calls at that location, since there was a concerted effort by all parties to try to address it.
Okay. Thank you.
Since Attorney Washington is not here tonight, I'd like to hear more from him. It's not premature. I'd like to make a motion that we table this until we get more information.
And that was what I was advised, that Alex was going to suggest, Mr. Washington. That's what we were under the impression was going to happen until your next meeting in January, and we'd be happy to provide any additional documentation, answer any questions you have, and then ask Ms. Rock to come inspect and ask you all to come inspect, along with.
But I make a motion that we table this.
I have one more question before you go any further, if I can, please. Have you done anything to address the cooking issues in the rooms? Because there's not supposed to be any type of cooking like they've been doing in the rooms, things like that. And that's something that your staff is going to have to address.
Yeah, so we've told everyone that lives on site, or, I mean, not lives on site, but comes and stays, because we've had like workers who would stay for a week and they'll bring like portable, I would say portable stoves and stuff. We've eliminated all of that, and we're telling, nobody can cook on site, because after we spoke about that, we took care of that.
Thank you.
Let me ask, Mayor, outside of the security cameras, do you have like anybody on the grounds for security purposes?
As of right now, no, but we are considering that. I would say ever since July, we haven't had much activity going on, even in the late hours of the night. So, but we are considering that with my dad, and I talked to Mr. West about it just the other day, that we are considering that. And if we feel like we really need it, we will go towards that.
And one of the things we discussed is if the council would mandate that, obviously they're going to follow your recommendations if that's something that's a concern, Chris.
Is that something you all did since July? You said you haven't had many issues. Was there any change in your?
Can we discuss that privately?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, there have been some changes,
Gotcha.
but that we'd be happy to share privately of some managerial things they did, that we would be happy to disclose privately, that we think markedly improve the property.
Yep.
I've just learned all these things in the last week, but I'd rather share that privately.
Gotcha.
As opposed to
Understand.
with the public.
Understand. Okay, so we did hear a motion. And before we go forward on that, any additional comments about this matter? Okay, all right, I did hear,
I can confirm that Alex did. He is agreeable with what Mr. West said.
microphone, Mr.
Alex
Collins.
is agreeable with what Mr. West said, but he did defer to the council to vote. But he's on his way, but I didn't want his absence right this second to make any difference. But he did call me and say that he is agreeable with what Mr. West said.
Mhm. And that's the 30-day, we did get a second on it.
Yeah.
And that's the 30-day kind of tabling, if you will. And in that 30-day period, we could set up an inspection. Council, you can decide which two, and we can have both chiefs and Chantrell certainly, and myself and whoever else.
When is your next meeting, Mayor?
It's on the 8th, actually.
Okay, good.
So that 30 days will be beyond that meeting, but we do have two
It's
meetings.
right before, yeah, Alex and I had exchanged correspondence to January 11th, but maybe we could say January 8th for your motion, that we could come back by the 8th.
Would they have all those things done?
I think so, yeah, that's what we've been told, Rose, yes.
It's either that or we can deal with it the second meeting in
Yeah,
January,
of
which
course.
is the
And then
22nd.
We can try to answer Chantrell's other questions as well after we have a conference with her.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we have a motion, council, and a second. And that is to table this until 30 days, so for 30 additional days. Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. All right,
Thank you, Mayor.
and we'll get an inspection set up. I think that's a good
That'd be
idea
fine.
to do that.
And by the way, they just hired me last week to help them with communication with the council. If y'all will communicate with me, I'm sure Chantrell will, I'll be happy to help facilitate that communication.
Okay,
Thank you.
got it. All right,
Thank you,
good.
guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next ordinance for final, it's read by, and it's ordinance number 73 of 2023, read by Councilman Harrington.
Ordinance number 73 of 2023 is an ordinance authorizing the city of Natchitoches to enact an ordinance repealing sections 107 through 108 of the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code. This was previously introduced. I'll read by title only.
Okay,
I move to adopt 73 of 2023.
A second.
motion made and seconded, Chantrell. I see you're talking now. Any, can you give us any clarity here, Chantrell, on this one?
On this one, there was some language in the code that Alex felt that we needed to repeal to make sure that we were in line with everything that we were doing with the ordinance or with the combination with this, with the hotel. There's some specific language that that did not line up with the way that our system, we have a city council. The MPC was asking that everything that we did go before an organized unit outside of city council, and Alex thought that we should appeal that part out and have everything go as we're doing now to go before city council.
Okay. So to, well, I mean, pretty much like you said, let it be the city council that basically,
Was the judge and jury who we present our cases to, instead of having an outside.
an outside entity.
Right.
Okay. Is that clear, everybody? All right, any comments here?
No.
Okay, seeing none, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
All right, that motion carries also, or that motion carries, I should say. We have 3 more items, all for introduction. The first one is ordinance number 74 of 2023, read by Councilman PT.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 074 of 2023, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches to award the bid for Love Louisiana Outdoors Project, Professor F.M. Richardson Park improvements. Whereas this bid was advertised in the Natchitoches Times on October 26th, November the 2nd, and November 9th of 2023 in accordance with the law. Whereas on December 4th, 2023, the appointed committee of Clarissa Smith, Finance Director, Ed Lee, Director of Purchasing, Kevin Warner, Director of Recreation, and myself reviewed the bid proposals for bids for for Love Louisiana Outdoors Project, Professor F.M. Richardson Park improvements. Whereas the above appointed committee members recommended the city award the bid to the lowest bidder, which is Martin Metal Construction LLC, in the amount of $571,774. And this is for introduction only.
Yep, and we've been working on this project for some time. We kind of went out, advertised for bids before we should have before, and so that's kind of why you're seeing it so much. And we had to rescind that and then come back, and so the Office of Community Development said we're now ready to actually go out for bid. So, so what I thought was interesting is that we actually had a lot of interest in this project. We had, according to the document everybody's looking at, 8 different construction companies that that put in a bid. So I think that's a good thing, because you're getting, different contractors looking at it. But I guess, and maybe Ed, you can answer this. Randall Smoke is here, but Ed, maybe you can answer this one. So clearly Martin Metal is the lowest bid. How does that compare to their previous bid in terms of the dollar figure?
Martin Metals, their bid went down. They were not the low bidder the first time. It was Regional Construction, and now they've kind of flip-flopped. So Martin Metal is now the low bidder.
Yeah. You remember that Regional Construction bid? I think it was 503,
Yeah, 503.
and now it's 639. So interesting. So Martin Metal actually went down from their original bid. You know about how much?
No, but it was over 6. I don't remember the exact dollar amount. I don't have that with me.
Okay. Over 6.
Over 600,000.
Okay, I got you. Understand. Council, I don't know if you got any comments or questions. And certainly, Clarissa and I have already started to discuss how we can, obviously there's a difference. So this is based off of the Love Louisiana Outdoors grant. So we're getting 400,000 paid. So we're just gonna have to figure out the other 171. Randall, you're good? Do you need to make any comment now, or you're fine?
I don't need to make any comment.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here, just in case something came up. All right, again, this is just for introduction, so it'll be something that's up for final at our first meeting in the new year, which is January the 8th, okay? All right, so certainly, council, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. All right, the next item is introduction. It's ordinance number 75 of 2023, Councilwoman Washington Eli.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for introduction only, and this has been done several years, so I'm just going to read the introductions on it. 075, ordinance approving matter of the corporate endeavor between the city of Natchitoches and the Red River Waterway Commission and Natchitoches Convention and Visitor Bureau to promote the use of the Red River for the King Cat Fishing Tournament. And it will be done on April the 12th and the 13th of 2024 as a proposal of the city entering into an agreement titled and Madeira of the corporate endeavor between the Red River Waterway Commission of the Natchitoches Convention of the Visitor Bureau, copy which is attached hereby sometimes hereafter. And whereas the tournament will provide public at the city of Natchitoches promoting the city of the description of the tourism as well as the recreation. And it's just for introduction only.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Washington Eli. As she stated in her remarks, this is something that is not new to us. We've been doing it for the last few years, and it's basically, another thing she read is a three-way agreement. I'm just re-emphasizing that, between the City of Natchitoches Red River Waterway Commission and the CVB. So what happens, and it's a $30,000 value, so the CVB promotes this event, and it's just another reason. Of course, Christmas is a great time. This obviously is happening in April, but it's another way to get people, in our city.
Get outdoors.
Get outdoors, get them in the city. You have them shopping and things like that, as we like to say. So, got any comments or questions, council, about this?
Do we get to do the weigh-in on the riverbank?
They have been doing the weigh-in on the riverbank.
Okay.
Even though it's Cane River, the
Yeah, but
riverbank
that's
is,
fine.
but they still
It's a
do it
good
there.
drive-through.
Yeah, they do it there
And the
because,
venues.
right.
Right.
So even though it's a Red River fishing tournament, they do it on the Cane River, like Councilman Nielsen said, the weigh-in, that is. They do the weigh-in part. So I think it's a good deal for us, right? Again, it'll be up for a vote. Sort of one of the things we want to go ahead and take care of, but up for a vote at our next meeting.
Kids enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. Last item on the agenda, we will have a few announcements, but the last agenda item is ordinance number 77 of 2023, is read by Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 077 of 2023 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Natchitoches, Ronnie Williams Jr., to enter into and execute a supplemental agreement with Union Pacific Railroad Company in order to supplement an existing lease of property within the right-of-way of the Union Pacific Railroad Company to provide for advertising and a savings clause. Whereas further, it has come to the attention of the parties that the lease of a portion of the Union Pacific right-of-way on the east side of the Union Pacific right-of-way has not been renewed. And whereas further, the lease as supplemented is a year-to-year lease with automatic one-year renewals. And that the supplemental agreement to that lease of property dated June 9, 2022 is approved, and that the Honorable Mayor Ronnie Williams Jr. be and he is hereby authorized and empowered to execute the supplemental agreement on behalf of the city in accordance with the general terms and conditions. And this is for introduction only.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman at-large Smith. So we have to have this agreement, from what I recall, and Matt can correct me if I'm wrong, but there are some utilities infrastructure that we need to access, and is that something about right?
That's one of the entrances to the water plant.
So interest to the water plant. So basically, as it says, one of the leases we've already dealt with, but the other one we haven't. Is there any clarity on that, Ed?
Yeah, this combines both leases. We had two different leases, one on one side of the track, one on the other side of the track. This will combine both leases so they both have the same term. It's Union Pacific Railroad made the request to the city, and it works good for us. as well, so we don't have two items to deal with on a regular basis. We'll only now have one, and they gave us a discount for doing so.
Okay, good. Oh, I see that savings clause, okay. Council comments or questions about this item? Good job.
Yeah, I just have a question on here. Where is the ADM? It said ADM mill site. Is that going towards the old?
That's the current Public Works location.
The
And that's-
current one, right, that's what
As
I'm
Matt
confused.
mentioned, near the gate where you enter the
Yeah.
water plant. On one side, the west side of the track is a water plant. On the right side of the plant, of the track is Public Works location. So we had a lease on either side. So it's right there near where Mill Street crosses the railroad track,
Right.
heading back to the
Yeah,
north.
Okay. All right, again, like we said with the other two previous items, this is just up for introduction. If there happen to be any questions, but I think this was pretty straightforward. But certainly raise those questions to us, okay? All righty, we're moving now to our announcements. And our next meeting, it says December 11th, that's today, but there won't be one on the 25th, obviously. We usually do one in December anyway. City of Natchitoches offices will be closed Monday the 25th, Tuesday the 26th for the Christmas holidays, and then that next week, Monday the 1st, and then Tuesday the 2nd, okay? All right, rain or shine, the show goes on. So this is our, if you want to know more about the NatchitochesChristmas.com, we'll say something later on about the drone show. It's gotten a lot of attention, a lot of likes, a lot of shares on Facebook. It was a great show. I was really looking forward to it this weekend, but obviously the weather moved it back on the 23rd, but I think we have a slide that shows that. So you can hit the next one, Steve. All right, this is something that, I don't know if everybody really knew about it, but something our utility, that's been happening every year with our utility service center, doing a bike drive, and so they're open 8 to 5. That's gonna be Monday through Friday, collecting the bikes?
Yes.
Okay, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So
We close at 2 on Friday.
two on Friday, so 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, but then 2 on Fridays, okay? All right, I didn't know if they were doing a little bit for the donation time, but to help a local family, kid with bikes, and so they normally do pretty good, and they're pretty good about tying it with families who really need it, so just wanted to put some publicity out about that, all right? Hit the next one, Steve. All right, this is part of our ACP, Affordable Connectivity. It's a federal program. Now, we won a grant, one of 5 Louisiana cities, to help us to promote that among our residents. So it's geared towards your low income. There was an event here on Saturday. There are 2 more going on, and its enrollment is from 9 to noon on each of these events. One happening this Saturday, and then the next one happening the 23rd. So the one on the 16th is going to be at the Abundant Life Church on Bend Drive, and then the one on the 23rd is going to be at the Goodwill Baptist Church. So we're going to be promoting that even more on our social media sites, but certainly help us to get the word so folks could basically get a subsidy on, get broadband cheaper, and also I think there will be a discount on a device whereby they can access the broadband. So a really good program. So just, we're trying to get the word out on it. Get the next one, Steve. Oh, that's all we have, okay. All right, so we've got a couple more Saturdays to go, like we said, with the fireworks, and that drone show is gonna be on the 23rd. It's going to be a major, major thing, okay? All righty, council, at this particular time, we will hear a motion to adjourn.
May I make a motion that we adjourn?
Second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Have a good night, folks.